everyone, good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets, trying to, I suppose, give up those losses again that we saw yesterday, and it is off the day's high, sitting on a loss of about 1/3%. Sensex seeing triple-digit cuts today in trade. So it's a bit of a somber day of trade today for the Nifty and Sensex. But this show, of course, is all about flagging off all those individual movers and shakers in trade. So let's get straight to that. Let me introduce our team of research analysts as well as technical analysts. On the technicals, we have with us Gaurav Ratnaparki of Sher Khan, and very shortly we'll be joined by Sumit Bagari of Choice Broking. And from our research team, we're joined by Vinny and Soumya. So good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining in. And let's kickstart the show with a jubilant food. We have seen a bit of sluggishness creep into this stock price as well, in line with what we are seeing with the rest of the markets too. However, today a bit of a bounce being attempted by Jubilant Food. This after Citi has maintained a buy with a target at 1,400 rupees per share, and they as well are citing the same thing that I had said, and that is with respect to the valuations. We have seen the price crack in the recent past, so valuation support is there versus if you compare it with valuations. However, the pullback in prices in a slower market is a concern. That's something that Citi has flagged off. Nevertheless, they have a buy and they are placing their target all the way at 1,400 rupees. Almost a 1.5% uptick seen in Jubilant Foodworks. Gaurav, it's interesting to know that the rally in Britannia has continued after slipping to a 52-week low. We've seen a nice bounce come by in the last one odd week. Do you think this will continue? Do you expect the rally to continue here? Okay, I think we are just having a bit of a technical problem. Perils of live television, I suppose. But Gaurav does believe that after the bounce that we have seen, this rally will continue. In fact, he is watching out for levels of 28.50 to 28.60 from here on. That's a decent 140 rupee uptick from these levels as well. So keep your eye out on Britannia today in trade. Okay, another stock that's today looking pretty perky is UPL, although it has come off from the opening highs in line with what the Nifty has done. Vinny, what is HSBC saying here?
HSBC is, quite positive on the stock and, has maintained a buy for the stock. The delivery on synergies, for the stock remain on track by HSBC. They feel that this will, surely deliver and, they are on the right path. The trade tensions, which are, could, in Brazil could be a bit of a concern, but, they are quite positive on the stock and, they are seeing higher Brazil exports, could benefit UPL moving forward.
Highs, but still in the green, and the stock continues to gain traction. Sumit, Tata Steel on the other hand, yesterday we did see a bit of a breather, but once again the metal stocks are back to their losing ways. But interestingly, you have a buy. So Sumit, what are you observing?
Hi, good morning. Tata Steel has supported around 330 levels. I think till the time these levels are not taken away, it's better to avoid fresh selling at the current market price. In fact, one can take a chance by taking a long positions in Tata Steel at the current market price, or on dips in prices till 338 should be used as buying opportunity, with a stop loss to be placed at 330 levels on lower side, and on higher side there is a possibility that in this pullback and bounce back we can see a move till 355 or even till 360 levels in next couple of days.
It's a buy target at 360 then for Tata Steel. Watch out for that. Okay, let's move on and talk about another stock that's declining. In fact, it's any which way been a sport of bother for a lot on the street. IDBI Bank, big wealth erosion seen over there. Soumya, credit watch negative for this one.
Well, yes, and that's coming from Standard & Poor's. They've placed IDBI Bank on credit watch negative owing to capital breach. In fact, this is especially after the Q1 results, wherein the company reported losses for this gone by quarter. And in fact, having said that, the rating agency also believes that the breach is temporary. So you might just see and watch out how the stock reacts once things stabilize and are at normalcy.
Well, nevertheless, the stock for now is seeing a big crack of 10%. Okay, Oberoi Realty, you're seeing a bout of recovery come by in this stock. Remember that it has been really a weak spot of bother for the last couple of sessions. However, today it's bouncing back. Now, the reason for that fall in the stock was because of the income tax department raids that were conducted on various offices belonging to the Oberoi group. But the company has acknowledged that yes, there were IT raids. However, that has concluded. They have cooperated, responded to all clarifications, and now it's back to usual business for Oberoi Realty. They, of course, have not mentioned what was the scope of the, the investigation that the IT department has conducted. But for now, normal operations have resumed. Remember that Capacity Infra, its supplier as well, did see the IT department raiding some of its offices. However, Capacity did come out with a very clear clarification saying that the IT department did not find anything. Oberoi Realty is seeing a nice gain of around 6% today in trade. Gaurav, Bharti Airtel, I think we've been able to connect with Gaurav again, so let me go across to him for Bharti Airtel. Continues to fall today as well. It's a day in the red for the telecom major. Your view?
Yeah, Bharti Airtel basically has formed a multi-week expanding ending pattern and has entered correction mode. On the way down, it has broken its crucial daily moving averages. Even the daily and weekly momentum indicator is in bearish mode. In the last session, the stock formed a large bearish outside bar along with an engulfing bear candle, and as a follow-through, the stock is tumbling down today. So I think it can come down to test its July low, which is around 321. So from trading perspective, one can initiate a fresh short position with stop loss at 356 and target on the downside will be at 321.
Okay, so Gaurav is a bit bearish when it comes to Bharti Airtel. Let's move on and talk about another stock, and that's HDFC Life. Soumya, after seeing such a great gaining momentum in the recent past, today HDFC Life seems to be taking it a bit easy.
Well, clearly, Mubina, in fact, lately the entire insurance pack has been buzzing and is in center and focus of all the investors. Having said that, today, however, we're seeing a little down move coming in HDFC Life. It's snapping 2 days of gains. This is after Integrated Core Strategies Asia sold close to about 1.2 crore shares at the price of 554 per share. So this bulk deal is definitely weighing down on the stock prices today.
All right, that is HDFC Life today. It's sort of snapping that gaining momentum, losing around 1.7%. Sumit, IB Housing, a stock downward direction today is not a very different day for this one. Your view?
Well, India Bull Housing Finance is looking weak to me. The stock is looking weak on charts in a longer term time horizon as well as in short term time horizon. It's presently quoting at around 460 levels. I think it's a good sell at the current market price with a small stop loss to be placed at 475 levels on higher side. And on downside, the immediate targets can be 440. Once these levels are taken away, we can see extended move till 425 levels. So it's a sell.
All right, that is of course a sell call on IB Housing that Sumit has. Vinny, HUL, what's the big news over there?
Mubina, HUL is looking to cut, price cut strategy at, in the soaps brand, which is, Lifebuoy, Lux and other soap brands. Now, currently they're looking at a 4 to 6% cut in Lifebuoy and Lux portfolios, as well as a 20 to 30% cut on certain packs, which have not informed currently what packs, but certain soap brands, they will be looking at 20 to 30%. Now, the company is saying that this is on the back of, low prices of raw material cost, which they are, which they are passing on the benefit to the customers. Also, weak demand has been, quite persistent in the consumer space. So this is a concern also. But, let's look at how this will pan out for HUL, especially with palm oil prices being quite volatile recently. So will they be able to, manage this price cut even after the palm oil prices increases? What we look out for also, Mubina. But today the stock is down around 1.7% on the back of this news.
Okay, well, this stock was one of the few that were actually trading at lifetime highs. But yeah, it's, I think, another day where you are seeing some fatigue perhaps set into the stock. Quick look at the RWI small case and see what it is up to currently. Unsurprisingly, along with the rest of the markets, it is showing a bit of a downward tick. However, it's flat, with a negative bias. So yes, the bias is in the red, but at this point of time, it's still a little more resilient compared to the benchmarks at 522. That's the RWI small case. Okay, let's move on and talk about another stock, again from the metals and mining space. Remember that counter, after recovering yesterday, has once again resumed its downward journey, and leading that pack is NMDC. That one seeing a big fall of almost 2.5%, a bit of a recovery from an intraday basis, but nevertheless it's a very minor recovery, still losing around 2.5%. I suppose the entire sentiment around the metals pack has been weakish, with the US-China trade war escalating and once again spelling gloom in terms of growth prospects for the world. Chinese iron ore prices have been cracking, and how, for the third straight day. In fact, Chinese iron ore prices are just about holding on to that $81 per ton level, and NMDC coincidentally is at that 81 rupee mark, 2.5% gone. Gaurav, you know, the auto stocks today are a bit of a weak spot, but interestingly, Tata Motors is bucking the trend over there. Anything substantial that you're observing here?
Yeah, that's true. Tata Motors basically is a significantly beaten down counter. However, it is witnessing some traction since last few sessions. The daily momentum indicator is showing positive divergence and is heading towards the equilibrium line. So though the medium-term trend for the counter is bearish, there is scope for short-term recovery to continue further. And on the higher side, the stock can head towards the junction of 40 daily exponential moving average and daily upper Bollinger band. So from short-term perspective, it can head towards the level of 135.
Okay, that's essentially Tata Motors. It's 1.5% higher today in trade, and Gaurav does believe that there may be scope for some short-term upside from here on. Soumya, Godfrey Phillips, of course, is the big news maker of today.
Well, yes, and this company is in focus on back of certain developments that are taking place at the parent company level, wherein Philip Morris is in talks with Altria to create an overall $210 billion tobacco group. Well, let me tell you that Philip Morris was spun off by Altria in 2008, but now they'll be merging and are in discussions to create a new entity wherein they'll be focusing more on non-traditional tobacco products. So this might be a little different from the previous merged entity. Now, having said that, Godfrey Phillips is in focus because Philip Morris holds close to about 25% shareholding in this company, and with this merger happening, we may see a likelihood of open offer getting triggered if the parent entity structure changes. So we'll closely watch out as to what the developments take place and how the entire shareholding pans out.
Well, 6% higher for Godfrey Phillips, and this, of course, is reports not individually verified by ET now. Sumit, Delta Corp, we've been seeing a lot of volatility in the stock. Yesterday, a massive move. Today, higher by 5.7%. Anything you would recommend as a trade that can be executed here?
Well, Delta Corp, it seems like it can move from present levels. The stock is looking good on charts. It has given a good move from lower levels, and from here on, there is a possibility that we might see upside move till 180 or even till 185 levels. So those who have taken long positions in Delta Corp, they can hold on the existing long positions. One can initiate fresh long at the current market price, with a strict stop loss to be placed at around 165 levels on lower side for the upside target of 180 and 185 levels in the next couple of days.
All right, that is our view on Delta Corp. And so, Vinny, Yes Bank, a big loser today in trade.
So, Mubina, Yes Bank has been in focus for a while now, and if you're going to see, they are planning to raise funds. Now, finally, they are having a meeting to raise funds via equity on August 30th. Let's look at how the board will, what the board comes at a decision for that. Now, recently they have raised around 275 million, but they are in need of more funds to, get the ship sailing again. They are in talks with private equity funds like Apex Partners, Blackstone, Warburg Pincus, and Advent International. So, let's look at how this stock will react, moving forward also.
Okay, well, we'll do one thing. We'll just take a very quick break on Market Fatafat. Do come right back. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now let's quickly continue with the countdown. Dilip Buildcon is a stock that we have our eyes out on. There is a bit of a an uptick coming by. And remember, this stock too was backed out of shape in the recent carnage that we saw in the markets. Nevertheless, a bit of a recovery witnessed in this one. This after it has managed to provisionally complete a road project. It has received the provisional completion certificate in Andhra Pradesh. Additionally, they've also received that date from NHAI for the for a Maharashtra road project. This was essentially, the Andhra Pradesh project was upgradation of a highway to 2-lane with paved shoulder in the state, and the certificate has been issued by the authority for the 17th of August. They declared project fit for entry into operation as on 20th July itself. So it's a nice uptick seen today. But mind you, the shares have been rising since last week, since exactly 5-6 days ago. It's risen almost 14%. So there is a bout of recovery kicking in for Dilip Bilkon as well, and that seems to be continuing today. Gaurav, Aurobindo Pharma, anything that you're observing here, given the uptick that you're seeing here too?
Auropharma is in process of forming an inverted head and shoulders pattern, which is a bullish pattern, and currently right shoulder of the pattern is in formation, and within the right shoulder the stock is forming a triangular pattern. So basically the stock is gearing up for a decent upside, and one can initiate a fresh long position once the triangular pattern breaks out on the upside. So the recommendation over here is to buy above 607 with stop loss at 585, and target on the upside will be 652.
Okay, buy, target at 652 rupees for an Auropharma. So Amya, IIFL, what are reports suggesting here?
Well, yes, this one's clearly on uptick after this TY report, wherein it suggests that IIFL Finance is seeking for a banking license. Well, they recently have expanded their distribution network by adding over 400 branches in the previous year, and the company was also saying that they consider seeking a bank license in future, as there are advantages in being a bank once there is a scale. And also with shifting focus in retail, they're looking to convert themselves into a bank and gain advantages of being a banking institution, and that's why we're seeing this uptick, nice uptick coming in the stock.
Okay, 2.8% higher for an IIFL Holdings in anticipation of perhaps this news. But remember, again, reports have been suggesting this. A stock that's really been weak for the last few days, especially amidst all the allegations of suspectful transactions, is RBL. Today, it's another day where it's tanking more than 4%. Sumit, your view?
See, RBL Bank is looking weak on charts. The stock has given a good fall in last couple of weeks, and it looks like it's still weak on charts. It's quoting at around 340 levels. From here on, there is a possibility that we might see a move till 330 or even till 325 levels. For a trading perspective, those who have taken sell positions, they can hold on the existing positions. One can initiate fresh sell at the current market price or on rise in prices till 345. Should be used as selling opportunity, with the stop loss to be placed at 355 levels on higher side for the downside target of 330 and 325 levels.
All right, RPL is down by 4.5% in trade. Vinny, meantime, it looks like PE players and investors are making a beeline for CCD.
Absolutely, Mubina. Now, this time we're hearing a new name, TPG, which is a private equity firm, is looking to invest in Coffee Day Global. Now, this Coffee Day Global here, Coffee Day Enterprises owns around 89.6% stake here. Now, in this deal, we had heard that, promoters are planning to restart talks with Coca-Cola. That was just last week that we are hearing news about promoters of Coffee Day Enterprises. Now, all this is taking place after, VG Siddhartha's death. Now, currently at Coffee Day Global, if you go to see, they have a 1,000 crore debt. So, before any company looks into invest further, they will still, go into due diligence and all. And how far does this work out is what we have to look out for. CCD is in talks with a lot of players, but let's look at which one is actually, going to get into invest in CCD or CCD Coffee Day Global.
Okay, but right now the stock is locked in lower circuit, but this is the sort of movement we have been seeing in the stock for some time now. All right, there is some news with respect to Natco Pharma as well, and that is, well, this one is actually an exclusive because we at ET Now have managed to gain access to the Form 483 that was issued to Natco Pharma's Mekaguda facility. There are 6 observations, one of them being that the quality control unit procedures are not being fully followed, and that employees are lacking the correct training to perform certain assigned functions. The process validation is not performed to ensure effective effectiveness. Equipment is not being maintained at regular intervals. Appropriate controls not exercised over computers. Lab controls do not have specifically sound specifications. So some of them seem to be serious in nature, especially with respect to the quality control bit. And the stock price is falling, although right now the losses are capped to 0.7%. That's Natco Pharma for you. Gaurav, JSPL, and it's important to get an opinion on these metal stocks, because yesterday we saw a bout of recovery, and now once again all of these stocks are back to their losing ways. Jindal Steel again below 100.
The Nifty Metal Index attempted a minor degree pullback, which turned out to be a short-lived one, and the index seems to have resumed the larger downtrend. And similar is the case with Jindal Steel. The short-term pullback fizzled out near 105 levels, and from there the stock seems to have started the next leg down. And overall, I'm expecting the stock to head towards its daily lower Bollinger Band, which is as low as 85. So even though the stock is down nearly by 6% today, the positional traders can still initiate a fresh short position over here, with stop loss placed at 102 and target on the downside will be 85.
Okay, bearish outlook on JSPL from Sumit. Meantime, Soumya, MEP Infra, what's the news here?
Well, this one's cracking in trade after the credit rating agency ICRA has withdrawn rating on company's 50 crore worth of bank limits, and this is due to slower and then anticipated progress in the 6 under construction hybrid annuity mode road portfolio. So clearly this one's tanking on back of this withdrawal of ratings by ICRA, and it's down by over 10%.
Highway Banai. Okay, 10% gone for an MEP Infra. Big crack seen in this one. Sumit, Equitas, another stock that after seeing that bounce of, that bit of a bounce coming by, is once again losing in trade. Your view?
It's given a good bounce back from lower levels, from the levels of around 98 or 100. We have seen a good move till 108 levels. I think a small correction or profit booking should be used as buying opportunity in Equitas. As far as trading stop loss is concerned, 104 should be the stop loss for long positions. And if anyone wants to initiate a fresh position, then that should be on buy side for next 2 to 3 days. And on high side, there is a possibility that we might see a move till 114 or 115 levels.
Okay, Equitas down 2.3%. That's Gaurav's, Sumit's take. But on that note, Sumit and Gaurav, thank you for sharing your technical strategies. Samya, Vinny, to you as well. But of course, folks, don't forget, today at 5 to 7 p.m. is our Rise with India Prime Time, and we will be kickstarting that with the Money Show. US-focused mutual funds, if you look at the year-to-date performance, they certainly have done very well compared to domestic mutual funds. Are they for you? That's what we will be discussing. Also, the LIC Jeevan Amar scheme, what exactly does it entail? We'll be getting a review of that new product from LIC. And we have the upcoming long weekend. If you are also hit by the month-end cash crunch, how can you optimally utilize that? Is what we will be discussing today on the Money Show.